Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another great episode of Basscast Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter. Hank the Bass Geek cannot be with us this week, but hey, you got me, and man, do we have an awesome show planned for you tonight. Local angler, guys, Martin Villa is on with us, and we're going to talk about his first Major League Fishing, Bass Pro Shops Series event. Guys, he finished sixth place on Toledo Bend. Congratulations to him. But yeah, we're just going to hit him up and not necessarily talk about the event, but what was it like, the experience, the mindset. And guys, like I said, if you ask me, fishing your first big time event, and the guy's fished many, many times. I mean, many, many places. But fishing the catch and release and the whole entire, everything that goes into Major League Fishing, what was it like? And we're going to dive into that tonight. But before we start that, guys, this weekend, for you guys who are fishing, the Rick Tilley benefit. Guys, please pray for the family of Mr. Rick Tilley. It was, the whole thing is a shock to all of us. Him actually getting it at his age, the cancer, and then passing away from it. Guys, don't forget about the Tilley benefit on Sunday from 8 to 2 going out of the state park. Guys, you got to head to the basscast.com right now and fill out a release form. Everyone has to do that, by the way. And if I remember correctly, you should be able to see this all on Facebook. But Saturday is the celebration of life. And it's going to be in Roanoke. Everything, we've all been sharing it, so hopefully you've all seen it for those who can make it to this event. And I know they've requested wear your bass fishing jersey. Tilley Love Fishing, live forward 110% all, both Tilley's Pops and Rick. But yes, wear your bass fishing jersey. Can't wait to see everybody and celebrate the life of brother Rick Tilley. Also on the news, guys, we've been having, I put out a poll a while back. It's been a couple weeks ago now. And I asked you guys about ads. And a lot of people have messaged me. They don't like the ads. Some are local, some are not. I can't really control any of that. But one thing I can control is cutting them all off. And we started a little something another, kind of help pay for some of the bills and everything. And you guys are going to see more of that over the next, I guess you say, week or two. And it is a Patreon from Basscast Radio. If I remember correctly, we set it up for $5 a month. This will help pay for ad-free Basscast Radio. I'll include the link in the bottom on the podcast where you guys go listen, wherever you listen to the podcast. But guys, we're going to put up a goal. We're going to see if we can reach it. I want to reach it because, it'd be great to cut the ads off. But we got to pay the bills as always. And it does cost quite a lot of money to host Basscast Radio. But we know you guys all like listening, and we really, really appreciate you all listening to the show. Don't forget, man, Bassmaster Elites tomorrow. Hopefully by now, this is going up tomorrow. You guys have all done your fantasy fishing picks. This year's winner will take home a discount tackle $100 gift card from thebasscast.com. So head on over, and I hope you've already made your picks. Like I said, I plan on getting this thing up early on Thursday. But yeah, make your picks for fantasy fishing this week. Stop number 1 of the Bassmaster Elite season. Guys, we're going to be right back with our special guest tonight, Mr. Martin Villa. All right, guys, welcome back. Martin Villa, what is happening, brother? Welcome back to the show. It's been about a year since we had you on earlier last year, I want to say.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I was expecting you to contact me earlier, just waiting in limbo.
No, I reached out to you, and we want to make sure Mama was good and everybody was healthy and everything was great around the house before I took time away from family. Because I'll tell you one thing, family is 100% first right here at the Basscast. So I'm glad she's doing well and back to see you out on the water this week, man.
Yeah, man. My family is doing awesome. They missed their daddy, but yeah, it's been back to the bass grind out at Santee Cooper, the land of another land of giants. I swear every time I hear the score tracker, it's a 7 or 8 pounder now.
Vila wants to say the land of evasive giants because
Oh yeah, I agree.
all right. So tonight, guys, we thought we'd dive a little bit deeper back into his first event, fishing the tackle. No, I always want to say tackle, but it's the Bass Pro Series. So many names in Major League
We'll get it
Fishing.
right now.
So many names. So many names. Um, on Toledo Bend, where he finished sixth place. Congratulations, by the way. I mean, we were talking before this. If you ask me, fishing your first event against these top anglers that are fishing this series, top 10, man, is, if you ask me, it's a win, brother.
Yeah, it was every as aggressive as this tournament is. I guess if I can use that word.
Yeah.
Every time you survive a day, it's just like the weight of the world coming off your shoulders. It's the most stressful thing I've ever fished. I feel like I aged 10 years that tournament.
Dang.
And I mean, that's a joke, but,
Yeah.
when I survived to make the knockout round, it was like I won. And then
That's
when
so
I
awesome.
survived the knockout round, it was like I won. And then I had a great comeback on the final period, and that was like a win. So it was a surreal moment to fish against the, quote unquote best of the best and just be able to kind of like bump shoulders with them. I watched a lot of these guys grow, I say
Right.
growing up.
Right.
So,
He's still growing up, guys. Vila's young, man. Really young. But this event right here, like I said, I mean, coming up through fishing the local BFLs, the tackle warehouse qualifying through that to get you and Gray, because we talked earlier, you're rooming with Gray this year. Both of you guys qualified to fish the series. What do you think helped you prepare the most for your first event?
uh, I have had some success at Lake Champlain, and Toledo Bend is the Lake Champlain of largemouth.
True.
And I'm an old school player with new school tools, essentially. And the sonar world, there's millions of them living out there, and you can't put your trolling motor on high and go for 20 minutes without running into some type of 4 or 5 pound fish, whether you
Right.
catch them. So it kind of just, if you pay attention to your screen, you realize, well, there's a whole bunch of them out there. Then you go down that long rabbit hole of, oh, there's fish everywhere, and that's pretty much
Yeah.
what it was. And
But they
I
still have to eat the lure, guys. Still have to
yeah,
bite.
no, it's true. And there was one time I saw three big blobs together, two really big blobs, and then one smaller one. And I fired over to him, and the big one come up and like eyeballed next to it. The lure and the fish were at one on the sonar, and then he parted from it. And I was like, "Dang!" I threw back to the small one, and it was a 6.5 pounder. Right.
Wow.
And so I got to where some of the blobs were so big, I was like, I'm not going to catch you, but I'll throw anyways.
Looking back at that event, man, did you sleep the night before it all began?
That was
I mean, how are the nerves during this event? I mean, like I said, you're fishing against the best of the best, and I mean, it's a lot of money on the line. I mean,
yes, it's circle D, all of the above. I'll tell you, I wasn't. I slept better than I would have if I had known what I was getting myself into. And when I took off, so I fished somewhat close to the boat ramp. I didn't have more than a 15-minute run.
okay,
And so I checked the spot out first. And when I dropped my trolling motor down, I couldn't get the trolling motor to link up. So I fiddled with that,
oh
the first,
wow,
you 7:30, you take off, 8 o'clock lines in. I was fiddling with that. Finally, I got that thing on, and I was like, that's time for me to leave. Well, I put my foot in the pedal, get halfway to the next spot, and I lose throttle. So, anyways, I was still in gear, so I knew that it wasn't what I feared, but I look down there, and the screw at the pedal had come loose.
Oh, wow.
So I come off pad, the lines are already in. And the first words out of that guy's mouth was Joshua Weaver, something, something, Jacob Wheeler, 8 pounder, something. And
Wow.
I hadn't made a cast yet. And when that score tracker thing lit up on me, the level of panic hit me. And the first spot I went to, there wasn't any fish. Second spot,
Ooh.
so it's just like, oh my God, what am I doing here? And then finally I caught a couple and realized that, like, the initial start of it, there was a pace that most couldn't keep.
Right.
There was a half a dozen guys in there that could catch more weight than all all the other guys combined. And once you realized how to do it and what you had to look for, it wasn't hard. The hard part was finding the biters, the feeding schools. And so it was definitely after period one when I sat down on that deck, because the 15-minute breaks, they're good for it. This format in my mind is awesome.
Okay.
The fact that you get days off, you have a forced break. Essentially, you get a half-hour lunch break.
Right. Right.
I'm a working man. You need that. And it forces everybody to sit down. Then you get time to reflect. You get time if you got to stretch your back. And then you don't have to race to a spot and hurt yourself, and you don't have to race back to hurt yourself.
Right.
So other than hearing everybody's score, don't be
Yeah.
surprised.
How did you deal? Yeah. How did you deal with that right there? I mean, you're already listening to people catch fish already, and it's like, oh crap. I mean, what went through your mind, and how were you able to kind of just settle yourself? Because, like you said, that was right at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, and it went down quick. I mean, it was so everything goes wrong at that time. The
Right.
casts are bad, and so one of the things about fishing Toledo and the sonaring is the fish were swimming.
Okay.
So if it was dead calm, it was still hard to hit them. If you were trying to rush it, you kind of wanted to set up on it and realize, oh, he's going this direction, coming at me, and you're going to get a better cast. But if you're getting rushed on that, you're going to miss those fish. And there was a mud line that worked its way down the lake. And so where I caught them day one, I couldn't catch them day two. The water came in, and
Oh.
it was the muddy water coming. It was the same thing because people that there was the score tracker was lighting up, and I would
Yeah.
have it. And then when I finally did get bit, they were catfish. So it's just every day. Don't I tell you what? The least stressful day is the final day, and that's the day you're supposed to be in it the most. But the fact that you just know you can't finish worse than 10th
Right.
is just that's like like you said, it's like winning when you make that top 10.
But how did you handle some of that pressure going into this?
Man, the pressure, dude. It's the taking. Like I said, that break. You take
That
that
break.
breath.
Okay.
Yeah, your stomach's knotted up. You know you need to drink some water, but you haven't. You don't want to stomach anything. And I smoked a bunch of salmon before I come on each event. And the second break, I'll usually stuff my face with some smoked salmon and regroup, and it and kind of revives me. But dude, the pressure is unreal. You can't film that pressure.
Right. That's
Uh,
that's awesome, man. I mean, overcoming the adversity right there at
yeah,
the first hour of your first major league fishing event,
yeah,
the Bass
uh,
Pro Shop Series.
yeah. It I wasn't prepared for it, and I was blessed enough to be able to crawl my way back into it
So
quickly.
you said you weren't prepared for it, and a lot of people, like you said, going to that high caliber, coming. I mean, I'm not saying taking anything away from the other series at all. I mean, the other series are great, but what was it like going into catching every fish, and not have the going away from the 5 fish limit that you're used to and all of us are used to. I mean, around here.
Well, the one thing is you're at the all you can catch format. You really get your butt kicked, and you see it. And um, the 5 fish limit is just a handicap essentially for the guys who can really wreck them.
Right.
And you eliminate that, And the saving grace on it for a few things is you can be on a subpar size. You could be on a male will get you somewhere. And actually, if it was a
True.
pound and a half, if it was in a pound and a half at Toledo Bend, I may have opted to fish some of the shoreline because I could catch all I wanted of the males that were up, and they were like 1/8 to 1/12s with a few random big female. It wasn't enough to like to even take a shot at a win. Um, but if it was a 5 fish format, I probably would have fished shoreline. I was catching big ones up shallow too. So it just the every fish counts thing. It also allows you to come back.
Right.
10-pound lead is nothing in every fish counts.
It's true.
So, and like Santee Cooper, I think I'm in 22nd. I've got like I don't know, maybe 12 pounds to get back to the top 10. That's just a
Three
couple.
fish. Yeah. Three.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't fish clean today, so I underperformed that way. And if I was to get a surplus of bites the next day, I fish and fish cleaner, I could very well easily slide back into the knockout round, and then you're zeroed. So I love this format. I feel like that it just keeps the suspense up, and it allows people to stay in it. It makes the show get greater as it goes on.
Right.
And so, and the other thing about it is you don't have to fish perfectly most of the time because, on multiple day events, there's a day in there that's cost you the tournament. Here, you get a brand new slate. You keep making
Yep.
profit.
All right, so you're fishing, your next event. We appreciate you taking some time out of us and talking with us tonight, guys. Martin Villa, right here from Central Virginia. Your takeaways from the first event. Mentally, how did you prepare for this one? Like I said, you got your first one under your belt. You kind of know what's going to happen. What were some things that you sat down with Villa in his head and said, I learned a little bit. This is what I'm going to do.
Well, I learned that the bar was raised. I'm not saying that like the Tackle Warehouse doesn't have that caliber fisherman, but the fact that like we were just talking about how the guys who are really really catching them can run away with it. You start looking at it as, hey, I can catch you. Now that I've fished it once, I recognize that there's maybe even slight differences in the way that you need to pre-fish and the way you need to look at the fish. And one of the struggles is you're not knowing who you're fishing against. Like you could be sharing the same water with somebody in the other group, and then when you find your fish, you got to burn it to the ground. At Toledo on the first day, I think I'd probably put 20 pounds in the boat after I settled down and got some fish. And normally in any other tournament, once you get 20 pounds in the boat, it's like, all right, let me go see if I can search.
Right. You're going to fish for the next day. You're going to find fish.
And then so you
practice again.
Yeah. So I come to Santee with, aspirations of Toledo, and I got here and I blanked the first day of practice. And quickly did I come back to appreciate the 5 fish, because that's what I weighed today. And so this is an eye opener here. It had a historically spring, not for Santee, but
right.
Most tournaments when in Virginia, your spring tournaments, the weather always screws them up.
Yep.
And we've got cold, muddy water here, and it's made for slim pickings. You can easily blank out here and as much as you can catch 10, 12 fish.
See, you brought up a little while ago your pre-practice. It kind of helped you with that, learning a different way to practice. Can you dive into that a little bit with us and, what you kind of learned?
Yeah, so it used to, with the 5 fish format, it's like the things that, it's the art of catching the female bass, the 5
right.
fish format. And she has a different tendency, especially this time of year, than the males will. But and at Toledo, it was an exception just because there were schools of 2.5 pound fish, schools of 3.5 pound fish, schools of 5 pound fish. And really the guys who were going to be on the best were on the best big schools of a little bit slightly bigger fish. But looking, I on the 5 fish format, I think you can be, I don't want to say more one dimensional, but you can kind of hone in on something more specific. Because
right.
as opposed to this, is you almost have to, you have to find the school. in the lake to win. And that's just what it is. And looking for a big female up on a shallow secondary point is not the same thing as looking for these schools.
Right. Did you, a lot of people talk about, around here talk about running patterns. In this series, are you able to fish that way? Like you said, but you're not really able to fish that way. You have to pretty much fish finding the mother lode.
You can fish trending patterns.
Okay.
And so that's how you succeed. It's almost, but see, the thing is by this format and in the span of our tournaments, like by the time we started the practice, and you got 3 days of practice and then 6 days of tournament. So if you fish the final day, you're 8, 9 days apart. And anything that you found or anything you've beat up.
Right.
So it's the trending pattern that you can look forward to something new and be able to just go to something almost run new water.
Okay.
Is how you essentially succeed in this, because a 3-day 5-fish format, you can win it off couple spots. Now you need to you have to get on them to the point where you can almost close your eyes and find them.
Wow. Earlier we talked about, you having a day off between, and, a lot of people said, okay, that's good because the body gets to rest and, you get to regroup and all that stuff. But if you were on a hot bite, you know what I'm saying? You that momentum, you lose all that. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. It's a double-edged sword. The last couple hours of practice, I had about an hour and a half. I had 6 bites, and there were 2 to 3 1/4 pounders. And then we came in, and I was ready to go fishing.
Right.
I didn't want, but
yeah, that would be hard for me to be like, hey, I know I'm on something, and now I have to sit at home while someone else goes and tears up my fish, or has the potential of tearing up my fish that I found, for the next day.
I agree.
Wow, that'd probably be the worst mind game of it all. Is you just sitting there saying, okay, I hope nobody, I've got something I think it could help me win, or either go to the knockout round, and it could be a game changer.
Definitely, it's it's just one of the things you have to overcome. So it's not like you can't just like scrap your way into success at this level as you can in the 5-fish format. That handicap of the 5-fish format, just I look at it differently now that I've fished just one event of this.
That's awesome. Now looking back on the event, man, we talk about mindset, and here at the basscast.com, we talk about that a whole lot. And, what was some of the things mentally that you took away? So that will help me, or, some things that you might want to change going into the future for the rest of the season.
Well, I mean, it's easier to change after it's done.
Yes.
And, the mindset that you go in, what I've learned in my past couple of years of fishing professionally is when you move, you just need to have confidence in your move. It's not going to always be the right move. You can't always catch them. And if you trust your instinct, and it's like, you just got to trust that this is what got you here.
Right.
And because if you get choked up by the star power all around you, you're gonna fail.
Yeah, your room with Gray Buck, decent fished a Bassmaster Classic before. I mean,
he's a Gray Buck, man.
He's Gray Buck. We all know that. But how was that part of it? I mean, like you said, you got someone great you're rooming with, so that always helps. And there's a lot of anglers out there that sometimes just stay to themselves the whole entire time, and that this thing could be it can mess with you.
Yes, well, that, and the other thing is there's rules on what we can share information
right
in this tour. But yeah, man, you guys got to put you stay inside the white lines, and you just put your heads together and try to work together. One thing I've learned over the past couple of years is that it's always better when everybody in the house is successful. So you put
Yeah.
your heads together, man, and learn off each other. And so, yeah, man, he's an awesome fisherman. Ron's an awesome fisherman. We got a little trio going.
Do you guys think you play off each other pretty good?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I really like Greg. He's a very interesting guy. He's funny. And Ron is too. So
He's a
it's been good, man.
Pennsylvania boy,
Yeah, yeah. He's not quite Yankee, but he's
but he
close.
knows how to tear up that Potomac River, though. So I mean,
Oh yeah, no, he's a beast. He's a beast.
he knows how to fish the river. Man, before we go, man, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for taking some time out tonight to talk with us. Like I said, on tour. Hopefully, this event pans out for you. Able to have a great comeback tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, the next day. Well, tomorrow it will be because I'm going to upload this Thursday. So you're going to be fishing Friday.
Yep.
So, guys, make sure you tune in to watch, and it will be live. We'll see some video on Friday. Let me ask you about that. I understand that was brought up, and a lot of people were quite upset at the last event on day 1 and day 2 and not got to watch any major league fishing after we've heard for the last 5 years, Major League Fishing's all about the video. Now, I know you're new to this, and this is your first rodeo on this whole entire thing, but it was pretty sad when a lot of people went to their TV screens and were like, or computers, and was like, where's bass fishing? Because it was kind of, a press
Yeah,
release.
man.
A press release didn't come out to me. I never received anything, but a lot of the other Dustin Connell, a lot of the big names blew it up a little bit. But it was like, what the heck?
I mean, it is a elongated tournament, and for all the bass nerds out there, I mean, I know there's just people just waiting, and I would have been one of them too. Um, the one I say the cool thing to MLF's defense was at least when you know that after day one, you know who to put the camera on the boat.
Right. That's true.
And one of the things about viewership on many things is it's saturated with tournament days. I mean, there's so much to watch now. So, and I want to say something about MLF. I was at the tackle warehouse at Rayburn and had a family issue, an emergency, and had to leave abruptly. And when I called the tournament director, Kevin Hunt, he's an upstanding man, he said, "I'm not the first call you need to have." He said, "Let me be the third or fourth. And how may I
Right.
help?" And I know that, look, I'm a business owner. And as the brass, we have to make difficult decisions that not everybody agrees with. And most people, I tell people, most people are just grateful that you don't have to make those decisions. But the staff at MLF called me every other hour,
Wow.
and they had a prayer for me over. There was a fog delay, and just the support that I got from
Oh,
MLF,
yeah.
I can't. They treated me like family, and because there's a lot of that, whatever whose side you're on, Chevy or Ford. I'll
Yep.
just I'll just say that MLF, the tackle warehouse crew, the staff, all the way to the top, bent over backwards for me. And
Yeah, because I was watching it and I was like, Vila went home? What?
I
And
didn't
then I
want
was
to go
like,
home.
huh?
I didn't want to go. The last fish I caught in practice was a 6.5 pounder. I didn't want
Ooh,
to
I
go.
bet you didn't.
But I mean, it didn't matter because at that moment I realized that. And the thing is when I talked to them, they called me that evening at like 9:30. It's like, I just want to know where you're at. And I was like, I stopped for a hotel, and they, the next day I had a conversation with him, and
That's so cool.
Kevin said, "What kind of man would you have been if you had stayed?"
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
said, man, it wasn't. It was 100% support from them, and so I got to give them their props on that.
It's awesome,
It's
dude.
hard to find a business that do that.
That's true. I got one last question. Then I'm gonna let you go. Your top bait for this time of the year, man. What is your
In,
go-to bait for February?
in Virginia,
Don't matter. We're gonna add
um,
this, guys, to our Amazon shopping list that we have. We actually became an affiliate store this year, and I'm trying to ask as many anglers the top bait, and we're gonna put it on there, and then we're gonna link the episode. This episode be linked back to the bait. So
hard to beat a mega bass jerkbait.
Mega Bass Jerkbait. All right. I got it. Dude, thank you as always. Real appreciate you, man. I think the last time I saw you was at a gas station, a little halfway
I
between here
know.
and Seaville.
Every time I hear your name, I think of looked over and like, dude, that's Brian.
And I'm like, what the heck? So yeah, I was like, wait, what? So man, appreciate you coming on, taking a little time out of your night, and wish you the best of luck the rest of this season.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll get you back on and talk to you throughout the year. And dude's a hammer, guys. If you're not following my boy here, Mr. Vila, you need to be following him all social media. He's won at all levels. I've been hanging out with this dude for a long time, watching him here on Smith Mountain Lake. You know, and fished a little FLW events and all the other stuff in the past. So I mean, all the hard work, guys. How many years have you been fishing at that level to get to this level?
I was gonna say, so a lot of the chatter online, about the dream dying. It is alive. It does exist.
That's
I
awesome.
am a construction worker who at let's see, in 2019, I think is when MLF started.
Yeah.
They bought it 18, somewhere around there. I went to English Choice in 2020. And like all the other guys that show up and they're off the street, they don't know who you are. Say, hey, can I buy that Ranger? I'm going pro. Let's just say it like that, right? So anyway, I bought a Ranger, and or traded in my white Ranger for the green one.
Right.
And it took me 2 seasons from the Toyotas to qualify for the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. Back when it was pro circuit.
Yep.
And 2 seasons in the pro circuit to qualify for the Bass Pro Tour. I know times are hard in the world right now, and that with prices of inflation and everything. If you want to become a pro through the working man way, you have to start with, if you can't afford to go buy that big shiny sparkle thing with the 250, you gotta start with like the Bass Tracker, and you gotta work your way up. It's how you get into like a 30+ foot saltwater boat. You gotta keep growing your way, and by the time you got to where you got your ducks in enough row to get that boat, you're skilled enough on the water to contend.
That's it.
That's how you get there. I mean, I am proof that the dream does exist.
We're gonna wrap it up right here, guys. Martin Villa, man, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you. Appreciate you representing the state of Virginia.
Sir.
Really, really do there. And guys, we're gonna be right back. All right, everybody. Really appreciate Martin Villa coming on and talking with us tonight. What a great show. I mean, dude, he's a hammer. I mean, really is. I mean, the guy catches fish wherever he goes, whatever format it's in. He does not matter. He's a fish catching machine. Guys, don't forget, head on over, check out our Patreon. Please become a subscriber of our Patreon. Love to have you. I'm going to do some numbers, figure it all up, and determine how many we need per month to be able to go ad free. I ain't looking to become rich. No way. If it happens, we get $1 or $2 extra. That'd be awesome on top of that, because it does take some time and some effort to be put in these shows. But if we can just get the bills covered, that's all I'm asking. I love doing it and love doing it for you. So have a great night, everyone. Enjoy the bass fishing this weekend. Like I said, we got the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Shop Series and Bassmaster Elites. Stop #1. Got a little camaraderie going on, fantasy fishing. I think it's over 40 people playing that with us right now. So have a great weekend, everyone. We will see you all next week right here on Basscast Radio.